Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English. Friends, in this video, I am going to summarize a very important poem titled Another Woman, written by Imtiaz Dharker. Imtiaz Dharker is a British poet, artist, documentary filmmaker born in Lahore, Pakistan. So let's know a brief introduction about this poem, Another Woman. Another Woman is a powerful, moving poem written by contemporary poet Imtiaz Dharker, who is known for addressing the themes like gender inequality, domestic violence, and social injustice. In this poem, the poet tells the story of a poor married woman who suffers silently under patriarchal oppression, verbal abuse, and emotional neglect. The poem highlights the harsh realities many women face in the traditional households, especially in the South Asian cultures. It ends with a tragic act of violence, showing how society often ignores such suffering until it is too late. So I'm going to explain first, I'll read the stanza, then I'll explain each stanza in detail. So, the very first stanza, the poet begins. The poet says, "This morning she bought green methi in the market, choosing the freshest bunch, picked up a white radish, imagined the crunch it would make between her teeth, the sweet, sharp taste, then then put it aside, thinking it an extravagance, counted her coins out carefully, tied them, small bundle into a sari at the waist." So it's about a woman who has gone to market to buy the fresh bunch of methi. So this stanza talks about a poor lady who is married and she has gone to market to buy vegetables and she has chosen the fresh bunch of methi that's called fenugreek, and there she also observes a white radish and she thinks how nice it would taste, but she keeps it back because she thinks this white radish might be very expensive and that luxury she cannot afford. So finally, she purchases a bunch of methi as a vegetable. Then she counts the money carefully, and whatever the money spent or the left out money, she counts it and she keeps the money. She ties the coins into her sari. So this shows her poverty, self-control, and how she lives a life of sacrifice. She wanted to buy even white radish. It was expensive, so she did not buy, right? It's another life of sacrifice. It also shows the poverty. It also shows the self-control. And finally, she has purchased a bunch of fresh methi. Now she goes to home. And the poet says, came home, faced her mother-in-law's I'm sorry, came home, faced her mother-in-law's dark looks, took the leaves and chopped them, her hands stained yellow from the juice, cut an onion fine and cooked the whole thing in the pot over the stove, shielding her face from the heat. So back home, cooking and struggle. So when this married woman, this lady, she returns home, her mother-in-law gives her always same angry looks. This lady does not complain, and she very quietly she starts preparing the meal. So her hands are stained yellow due to the methi's juice. She's cutting the methi, and due to the methi's color, her hands has become yellow color. And then she starts cutting the onion, and finally she starts preparing the vegetable over the stove. And when she's preparing vegetable over the stove, she's also taking care, protecting herself from the heat which comes from the stove. So this shows her obedience, domestic work, everyday routine task, and how silently she's carrying out her duties, though having seen the angry look of a mother-in-law that's quite very much common every day. So despite emotional tension or the harsh treatment, she continues her work, her domestic chores. Now the poet further says, the usual words came and beat their wings against her. What's the usual words? The money spent, curses heaped upon her parents who had sent her out to darken others' doors. She crouched. as usual on the floor beside the stove. So in this stanza, the poet says that the woman is verbally abused every day. Every day she has to listen the hot words from her mother-in-law. Every day her mother-in-law complains about how much money she's spending for the basic food. Whenever she goes to buy the vegetables, she spends too much money, right? The woman's own parents, even her mother-in-law, also insults her parents also, and her mother-in-law always comments saying that she has been sent to darken her home, right? Ashubh hai. So that means her marriage is seen as a burden on her husband's family, but she doesn't fight back. In spite of the abusing words which has been thrown by her mother-in-law, she does not say even single word. She keeps on tolerating it. And how is it seen? She stoops silently beside the stove, seated on the floor, and she continues her work. That shows that how she's trapped and how she feels herself as powerless. Next, further, when the man came home, she did not look into his face, nor raise her head, but bent her back a little more. Nothing gave her the right to speak. She watched the flame hiss up and beat against the cheap old pot, a wing of brightness against its blackened cheek. So finally, she's doing her work, and that time her husband comes home. She doesn't look at her. She doesn't look at him. She doesn't greet him. She doesn't speak to him. She's not looking at him. Why? Not because of any crime. I mean to say, not because of any other reasons. Because she does not, she fears. She bows her head, lowers herself more, and bowing her head down, she's continuously working. This shows her lack of identity, self-worth in the household, lack of self-worth. She feels she has no right to talk. She watches the stove flame hitting the old blackened cooking pot. She's continuously watching the flames which are hitting to the pot. So this becomes a symbol of her own suffering. How the flames are hitting here, similarly, she's also getting flamed in this household, in this particular environment. She's like the pot which is used every day, damaged and burnt again and again and again and again. She's also getting burnt again and again in such kind of cursing words, in such kind of words which has been thrown from her mother-in-law. Her husband doesn't support her. She cannot raise her voice, right? So she's suppressed. Then the poet further says, this was the house she had been sent to, the man she had been bound to, the future she had been born into. So when the kerosene was thrown, it was the only choice she had ever known. Another torch, blazing in the dark, another woman. We shield our faces from the heat. Concluding stanza. This final stanza is very tragic and very powerful. The woman realizes this life. What? The woman realizes that my life is only this much. What my life? This house, this man, this suffering is not something she chose. She thinks that I have not chosen this kind of life. It was forced on her by tradition and by the society. So when kerosene is thrown on her, she's burned. Maybe her husband or her in-laws, due to the dowry-related attack, due to the dowry-related issues, might have thrown. It's not clear here, but it gives such kind of social issues here. So it feels like the way only out. There's only one way out. There's only one way she can come out of such kind of sufferings. She becomes another torch. Just one more woman burnt in silence. One more woman keep on adding and keep on getting burnt in silence. So the last line, we shield our face from the heat. What's the meaning here? It's a kind of a slap on a cheek. This line says here, the society looks away from such tragedies and they ignore the suffering of women like her. So we shield our face, we hide our face from such heat. Such heat means to say such kind of cases, such kind of environment where women are not given the the respect. So society looks away from such tragedies, ignoring the suffering of women like her. So hence we can say this poem highlights the harsh reality faced by many women trapped in poverty and oppressive family structures. It shows how silence, suffering, and abuse become a part of their everyday lives, often leading to tragic consequences. The poet uses this story to bring attention to the invisible pain of countless women and challenges society's tendency to ignore their struggles. So, hence, this poem is a powerful call for empathy, awareness, and change. So, friends, this is how I have tried my best to summarize the poem Another Woman. And it's really great call to bring a change. We have to be the change maker. I believe in this statement. If you want to bring a change in the society, first you have to be the change maker. So, thank you so much for watching this video. Be the change maker, respect women, respect girls, respect everybody in the society equally, treat equally, right? Thank you so much. Stay tuned with my channel, Mukesh English.